Attention all squads. The Russian troops are falling back. Do whatever you can to secure the sectors. We push them back, but not far enough. Do not let them regroup. Hostiles close! Hostile down!
Play it on the all-new Xbox.
Wow. All right. So, 2042, looking very promising after that gameplay release. Now, in the last video that I made, I made a note on thinking that a lot of these Levolution things might have been campaign themes. They're not. I did actually do a little bit of extra research. I just didn't get around to making the video yet. But this trailer has kind of cemented what I learned, that these tornadoes and the sandstorm and all that kind of thing, they are going to be a multiplayer and they're going to be insane to deal with. I can't wait. Apparently they can be very random. Apparently they can find their own path as well, so they can just lay destruction in certain areas of the map. The gameplay is going to be very different. Apparently what we're looking at is not going to be a campaign and multiplayer. It's going to be one thing, and I think it's going to be something along the lines of how they made the Battlefield 1. I can't remember what game mode it was called, but it had storyline woven into it, and you had to like try and fight to one side of the map. I can't remember the name of it, but I assume it's going to be something very similar to that, where it's got a little bit of a story woven into it, and it's sounding like that's what it's going to be. A little bit of a storyline woven into multiplayer gameplay. Also, this isn't going to be a PvP only game. Apparently what we're looking at is we're also going to be getting something pretty cool, something that we don't get a lot in movies, in games at all these days, which is just these massive AI driven game modes as well, which is going to be insane. So you can choose to play these game modes out with either just a whole bunch of players, or you can play them just with AI. You can practice with the AI. So in a way, that would be kind of like your campaign where you're going up against the AI enemies, doing the storyline-esque things, but it's going to be in more of a multiplayer format. Apparently, I think what I heard was you can have just your team be players and then the enemies be AIs, or you can just have just you and then the rest of everything, like your team and the enemy team, will be AI. You can choose between the two. But I'm really excited for this because there is a lot of cool things. One, the assassination animations are freaking awesome, loving it. Two, the HUD, I'm not too sure how I feel about the HUD. It's different from Halo. It's different from Battlefield 4, and it's different from Battlefield 1. It looks very bright, which I assume is going to be, kind of paying homage to the fact that we're paying, I don't think that's the right term, kind of leaning into the future-esque kind of feel that 21 years in the future would have. But I'm assuming we can dial all that back, because back in Battlefield 4, it was very minimalistic HUD. Like, it wasn't a lot of bright colors. It was just like black and white, and I kind of prefer that. So I'm hoping we can like dial that back, maybe, or even Battlefield has a really good reputation with allowing you to adjust the colors of the HUD and all that kind of thing. So we could probably go in there and change that to our own liking anyway, which would be pretty cool. That scene where they killed the helicopter with the quad again, pretty freaking cool. But they used the C4 trigger that time. I love that. Now, Sandstorm is really cool. Really, really awesome. I'm not entirely sure how far they're going to go with it. I don't know how destructive it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to destroy like whole buildings. I'm assuming the massive structures, they're going to be perfectly fine. Like maybe the glass, and maybe there's maybe cubicles and chairs and computers that can maybe be like grabbed out of the buildings. Like once the glass is smashed from everything, just like all the rubble just breaking against it. And then maybe with the turbulent air, it kind of just sucks shit out of the buildings and then flings it everywhere, which would be insane. Imagine imagine you're a sniper and you're just chilling out and you're about to pull a trigger on some guy and a chair just whacks you in the face. That'd be a shit way to die, but it would add a very interesting dynamic to the game. Also, from what I heard, the rocket launches are going to be similar to what I had theorized. They are going to be there's going to be different reasons for them. So I'm assuming that maybe if you play through this game, like there'll be different tasks that you're trying to overcome to either stop or aid the launch of the rocket. But I'm still a little bit fuzzy on that. But judging by the sound of it, it's going to be very cool as well. But yeah, I'm really excited now. Like, the gameplay seemed to be going very crisp. The graphics seemed a little low, but no, I take that back. No, everything was pretty crisp. I think I was watching it on a little bit of a lower resolution, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But so yeah, it's a couple of more things. I'm actually really excited that it looks like that this Osprey is going to be not looks like, it is a player drivable pilotable vehicle, which is pretty damn cool. I'm not entirely sure if the whole I'm going to assume, because this is Battlefield, that the troop transport section is going to be like completely fillable. So you're going to be able to have like up to maybe 12 people in the back of that. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to balance that for gameplay. Like imagine just having like 12 people rock up in a chopper. I don't know. But that's something that I'm really excited about too. Also this grappling hook sequence that we've seen where he kind of slingshots up over the crane and then lands next to his buddy who's getting the jabby jabs on. That looks really cool. Also, another thing that I came across while I was doing a little bit of extra research, that scene where the tank is falling from the sky, it's got like some kind of a parachute array and it's got the thrusters to negate its impact. That is going to be, I'm not entirely sure if that's the only way you get ground vehicles, but when I was doing my little bit of research, I heard that that's how we're going to get vehicles, and I'm assuming that's how quads are getting on top of buildings and all that kind of thing. I was a little bit worried about that with the initial trailer, like the scenic trailer, because I didn't want just like a random quad being spawned up on top. I thought maybe it was going to work how maybe the Commander worked in Battlefield 4, how you can just spawn like a random quad down for your mates and then they can use it. But it looks like what you can do is you can actually call in vehicles now, which is going to be insane. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to balance that. I'm assuming maybe it goes by squad. No, because if there's like 10 squads, you wouldn't want 10 tanks running around. So it has to go by team. So I'm assuming with that logic, it's going to go basically the same way that it's going to go the same way that it would have in Battlefield 4, how when you initially spawn, you can choose to spawn inside the vehicle. So it's going to have that same vehicle count limit, and it's just going to be whoever can get to it fastest to like spawn it in, and then whoever can run to it and like actually climb in it fast enough, which I don't know if I like that. I don't know if they're going to also have like the initial spawn vehicles as well. I don't know how they're going to work that, to be honest, but judging by the sound of it, that is how we are going to get vehicles, at least some of the time. I don't know if it's going to be 24/7. That's the only way you get vehicles. But it is looking like an all-out batshit crazy warfare. These maps are going to be huge, like absolutely massive, which for somebody like me who really enjoys the sniping experience that Battlefield games bring, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped, especially when we're going to have these storms and everything that are going to come into play. I'm wondering if maybe, I don't think they will. I think it's a little bit too far-fetched for Battlefield. I don't think they're going to add windage to the game, but it would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool if you could like shoot towards an enemy, but have the bullet like pulled off course by a weather event. Or maybe you could do some wanted shit and like shoot around it. I don't know, that'd be cool. That would be something you would see in Battlefield though, right? Like those crazy one-off shots that are like a 1 in a million thing that you barely ever get, but some guy gets it and he just puts it up on YouTube. That is the kind of, that's an only in Battlefield moment. So if you can't do that, I won't be surprised, but I'll be a little bit disappointed. But I'm really excited for the Osprey for some weird reason. Because we've had transport choppers in the past, and we've had bombers with Battlefield and all that kind of stuff. That's another thing that I haven't seen yet. If we're gonna have these like large troop carrier vehicles, I'm assuming that indicates we're going to have massive games, like ridiculous 100-player versus 100-player games, which isn't that much of a stretch, especially considering that the new Xbox Series X is just ridiculous. At least it was before launch. I honestly haven't done a lot of research since it came out, but it was supposed to be this ridiculous overpowered console, so I don't know. Also with PC players and all that kind of stuff. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit lackluster with excitement right now. I've kind of just woken up, but yeah, that's pretty much all we have to talk about. I'm gonna do a quick rewatch and just see if there's anything that I've missed, and then I think we might wrap this up. All right, guys, give me a sec. I'm not entirely sure who's the voice actor for the. I don't know. I can't remember if it was throughout the whole trailer, but that scene where he's grapple hooking around that that crane, it sounds a lot like Gerard Butler. I'm not gonna lie, and that'd be pretty fucking sick. Also, something that I noticed that I realized might have just been an effect of the sandstorm was that the building lights turned on. Now, I know that there's supposedly going to be this nighttime version of these maps and then a daylight version of these maps, and this is nothing new. This is something that we've had since Battlefield 4 and all that kind of stuff. With Zavod got a nighttime version of the map and all that kind of stuff in Battlefield 4. But I'm not too sure whether or not we're going to be able to see a literal time progression. Say if the game goes for long enough, I have a sneaking suspicion that it may just run the course of a day into a night scenario, because I know that it was the storm making everything darker and all that kind of stuff. But if it was still daytime, like if it wasn't going into afternoon, into night, the building lights wouldn't be turned on. It would just be this crazy daylight sandstorm where it's really hard to see because there is no ambient light, and that would be a really awesome challenge. So I don't see why the game developers would turn on, like have the building lights turn on for just the sandstorm. So I have a feeling that maybe we're going to see like a night to day maps, not just night and day maps, if that makes sense. Which would be freaking awesome. That would just be like cherry on top of this game that just looks insane. And I do take back what I said about the resolution. It was just my bullshit. But it does look really cool. The damage to the chopper, I really love the look of this damage sequence because you've actually got like raw flames just shooting out the back of the engine exhausts, and the typical, action explosion, but then the chopper actually spiraling out of control, plummeting into the ground, and I love that. That looks freaking sick. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be looking at in terms of numbers of vehicles, but I'm hoping that if we're going to see this massive influx of players to the game, then we're going to get something like something extra, like say maybe like 4 jets instead of 2 or something like that, which would be pretty damn cool. Something that I'm looking forward to, because throughout recent times I've started getting into flying around in jets and all that kind of stuff, and it would be awesome to have like an actual 4-player squadron of jets just kind of like careening through the sky and just decimating everything, and then trying to deal with the elements on top of that. Like maybe, I'm not entirely sure how these weather events are going to work, but it would be awesome if you could like slingshot a jet around them somehow, and not just have them get sucked up like choppers did. I'm assuming you can kind of do that because the wingsuit you can kind of do that. So yeah, I don't know. Also, something that I kind of picked up on just now was the scene where I think it's right at the very start where they're running and they're jumping off the snow map and they're going into wingsuit mode or whatever. Oh, that's another thing. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the way that they go into wingsuit mode, if that makes sense. Just the, because it looks like, to me, it looked like another character jumped down in front of of the person's face, and it took like a millisecond, but it took a second for me to like realize, oh, okay, that's the animation to go from first to third person. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like that's going to be very disorientating if you're going to go from like a first person view, and then all of a sudden your own character kind of just like zips into scene. That looks a little dodgy. I don't know if that's how I'd do it. I would have just preferred like just the generic, like, okay, you're in first person view and then the camera sucks back to meet you, not have your character kind of just like, or at least have the camera like fall up to you. That just looks, I don't know. Maybe that's definitely nitpicky, because like the rest of this looks absolutely insane. Like there's nothing wrong with this game that I can tell so far. Like the HUD, I'd probably change to like white and gray if I can. Other than that, it's literally just that camera transition. Everything looks pretty damn solid, and I'm not going to pretend like it's not. I am interested to see snipe gameplay though. I'm really interested to see that. But yeah, until then, I guess all we have to do is wait for the game to come out, and we can actually enjoy this for what it is. But I'm damn excited. I can't wait to get into a squad with my mates and just absolutely lay waste to some of these maps, because it's going to be just one hell of an experience, because these maps look like they're massive. It's been a long time since we've had Modern Warfare in, so I can't really say Modern Warfare because Modern Warfare is, out, but yeah, but Modern Warfare in Battlefield games, and I'm excited to see the evolution of Battlefield, because it looks like it's going to be a completely different game to anything that we've gotten so far. And while most games that would be daunting, while most games like that much of a change would be kind of weird, for Battlefield, it makes sense. Like, it's all about giving you that raw impact Battlefield experience, and I believe that this Battlefield 2042 is going to give us just the biggest, just rawest, just in your face warfare experience. And I'm color me a liar if I'm not excited for that. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like these weapons aren't that different from what we've already gotten in past games. It looks like we've got AKs and vectors and all that kind of thing, which are going to be pretty cool. It's what we're kind of used to. So I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be bringing as far as snipers and pistols and all that kind of stuff go. I'm assuming it's going to be all basically, it's maybe just like futuristic-ish, like borderline futuristic-ish weapons based around what we already have, which I'm perfectly fine with, because that's what every game has. It's what we know. We'd kind of have a general gist of how all these weapons are going to work with gameplay and how they're going to fit into Modern Warfare kind of scenario. But yeah, I think that's all from me today, guys, because I think we've touched on most of everything. But stay tuned on this channel real quick, because I am going to be doing a little bit of a kind of a review, another trailer review for Halo Infinite, because that just came out as well, and I'm I've got some things to say. All right, guys. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and whatever you do, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified when I do come out with this next trailer review. Also, if you want to leave a comment and tell me what you think about this, about these new games coming out and what you've kind of spotted that's really cool in the trailers, let me know in the comments, because I would absolutely love just to have get a dialogue going and just really just chat to some people about what they're excited for in Battlefield 2042. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for coming back to this awesome channel, and thanks for putting up with me changing the name as well. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'll see all of you legends in the next one. It won't be long. Bye, guys.